Welcome. It is my privilege and my pleasure to welcome you all here today. It's great to see such a good turnout, typical of the caring community of Harwich. So a special welcome to all of you who took the time to be here with us today. We're going to have the national anthem of the United States of America and the national anthem of the Cape Verde Islands, the Republic of Cabo Verde, sung by our own very, very talented Candida Rose. Candida.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the Canta, irmão, canta, meu irmão, que a liberdade é hino e homem é a certeza. Com dignidade, interessemente, no pôr da ilha nua, na despenhadeira da vida, esperança é do tamanho de mar que nos abraças, sentinelas de mares e ventos, perseverante entre as estrelas e o Atlântico. Entoa o cântico de liberdade. Canta, irmão, canta, meu irmão, que a liberdade é hino e um homem é certeza. Obrigada.
Thank you. We have a hard-working committee that dedicated themselves to a lot of work for this evening's program, and I want to begin by recognizing them first and foremost. Let's start with Albert Rainio. We call him We do call him the patriarch of the Cape Verdean community. He's just an all-out effort everywhere. Numerous programs. He is a community activist, not only for the town of Harwich, but for the Cape Verdeans who live here. I must say, behind every good man, and that would be his wife, Josephine. I see her way back there. She's a super sensitive and super supportive woman, and I'm happy for Elva and happy for me because she's my sister. Another committee member who's worked very hard is Angela Chalaka. Many of you may know that Angela was a teacher in the Harwich High School system for many years. She's now retired, but she's a very active retired, still active in youth programs and various other community groups, and really was the star of the Oral History Project, where she interviewed Cape Verdeans from our community. Someone who recorded those interviews, and his wife, I'll start with Brenda, because she's a part of the committee. Brenda, will you please stand? So Brenda and Bill, recorded and edited and have just done a lot of super good work on the Cape Verdean Oral History Project. Two others here who helped make tonight happen, who had the connections and worked their way to help us through, are Dino. Captain Ramos is a husband and father that was born and raised in Brava in the Cape Verde Islands. He lives on Cape Cod now since 1990. Nadina, would you stand, please? The captain works for the Steamship Authority and has for more than 30 years. He's typical Cape Verdean, very good on the sea. Many were known as great seamen. He is engaged in activities that promote education in Brava since 2007. He was invited to sponsor the school by a group of local volunteers. He also accepted and as a result became the first sponsor of the Education Center #2. He annually donates foods and goods and money to help the people of Harwich. He also created Hapai Didi Foundation, whose purpose is to carry out various educational cultures. We are very lucky to have him on this committee. Also, Risa. Risa is a wife, mother of 3, and young accounting professional. She is a native daughter, born and raised in Brava, Cape Verde Islands, and has been living on Cape Cod since 2013. Currently, she attends Southern New Hampshire University, where she is studying for her master's degree in accounting with a concentration in taxation. Risa, will you please stand? I thank all the committee members for the great deal of work that they put into this evening to help make it a success. Others in the community who have helped us, from the Harwich Historical Society, Peg Rose and Carolyn DeChristopher. I believe I saw them here. Yes? Yes. And from the Brooks Library, Jenny Hewitt. Jenny here. And from the community center itself, Carolyn, Carrie, and Jamie Goodwin. Our Board of Selectmen tonight, there is 3 of the 5. So I'll introduce the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Larry Ballantine. Please stand. Outgoing or immediate past chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Michael McCaskill. And Don Howell. Don. We have some governmental officials having a clue what that would be. I heard it has something to do with the House of Representatives, though, and that's something I find quite wonderful. Our state representative for this district, Sarah Peake. Our senator, I was fortunate enough to serve with him in the House of Representatives. It was good to see him, wearing the years well. Senator Vinny Macedo. And Representative Tim Whelan. Welcome. I don't think I've missed anyone, have I?
Jeffrey Soares is here on behalf of Senator Sear.
Senator Sear could not be here tonight, so he sent someone to represent his office, Jeffrey Soares. Where are you? There, back there. Thank you. We'll have a few brief words from Senator Macedo and Representative Sarah Peake.
Thank you. I want to thank the community and the organizing committee for asking me to be here this evening and giving me a moment to say a few words. Mr. President, on behalf of the Massachusetts House of Representatives and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I welcome you to Massachusetts, to Cape Cod, and most importantly, here to Harwich. We sit here in Harwich's community center, and I read in the literature about you that supporting community, athletics, the arts is a priority of yours on the island of Brava. And the leaders of Harwich are to be congratulated because where we sit today, it's a center for culture, for arts, for community, for athletics, and for our senior citizens. It's the embodiment of so much that is wonderful about this community. We have a gift for you, but before we present this to you, I'd like to introduce my friend and perhaps Brava's greatest gift to the United States of America, my good friend, Senator Vinny Macedo, who was born on the island of Brava.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure for me to be here. I am not your state senator. I'm actually a state senator from the Plymouth and Barnstable district. However, Julian Sear is your senator, but they've asked me to come because, as my good friend just mentioned, I was born in the island of Brava a few years back, maybe 20 years, no actually, it's a little longer than that, 54 years ago, and I came to this country at 6 months of age. Muito papo crioulo, inclusive, bem com vocês, começam os punhos de papo crioulo, sabe? With my street friends there. But anyway, but it is so wonderful for me to be here and to welcome the president of Brava, the island that I was born in, to just give you some perspective. This Cape Verde is a very small country, but Brava is even smaller than that. I mean, when you look at the country that's small, and this island is such a very small island in the middle of the Atlantic, but it has had such a profound impact here in Massachusetts. And so for those of us that know Cape Verdeans, and we know the Motabaza and the work ethic that have come from the people of Cape Verde, many of those people were from Brava and from Fogle. And so it is such an honor for me to be here and to be invited by all of you to participate in this event, to make the case to those who have come from Brava that we are strong and we are united together as people. We love the Cape Verdean people in America, and the Cape Verdean people love America. And so for that, thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity as well to introduce my good friend and colleague. He doesn't have to speak, but he is going to help in the presentation. My good friend, he's a little bigger than me. He's a bodyguard for me. Representative Tim Whelan as well. So thank you so much for the introduction.
Mr. President, it's my honor to address you, sir, and it's my honor to present to you, along with my friend, the gentle lady from Provincetown, Sarah Peake, and the gentleman from Plymouth, this flag. And I have a presentation that colors along with it as well, Mr. President. It states, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Office of the Governor, in honor of President Francisco Walter Tavares. This flag of the United States of America was flown over the state capitol in Boston, and this is signed, sir, by the Governor, His Excellency Charles Baker, and it is signed as well by Tammy Kraus, the Superintendent of the Bureau of the State House, and it is dated August 19th, 2019. We are honored by your visit, and thank you very much for coming to share your thoughts and your time with us.
I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to just let the people of Harwich know how fortunate you have been, not only just for the last 12 years, but prior to that, having Shirley Gomes as your representative. You have been well represented for well over 20-something years. I've loved working with both of these people in the legislature. They are phenomenal people, and they really care about Harwich. So let's hear it for
just giving a cheer for women in government. I would like to introduce two more. Herminia Moniz, Consul General of Tavares, and Mr. Peake, our County Administrator. I'll ask Don to come forward at this time, and he has a proclamation and a presentation for President Tavares from the Board of Selectmen.
Thank you, Shirley. One thing I can say is, thankfully they set this podium up for Sarah, Shirley, and I. We come here today to celebrate the long and storied relationship between Harwich and Cape Verde, and in particular, Brava. Commencing in the early 1800s, skilled sailors began to arrive along the south shores of Massachusetts from Brava and Fogo. Many remained to settle and raise families. Spreading from New Bedford to Provincetown, a large number found the springs of Harwich to be an inviting place to settle. It was to Harwich's good fortune that agriculture eventually overtook seafaring as an occupation. When the post-Civil War recession ravaged Harwich and many skilled workers left for new factories off Cape, it was the Cape Verdean population which helped Harwich avoid economic ruin. Adopting the cultivation of a new crop, cranberries, their dedication to hard work and a fierce sense of community carried the day. Another immigrant wave arrived in the early 1900s. They saw their numbers swell in our town. Our Cape Verdeans imbued a strong sense of respect and honor upon successive generations. Eventually, many emerged from the community to take their place as Harwich leaders. Shirley Gomes was elected to represent Harwich and the surrounding communities in the Massachusetts State Legislature. John Radio became our police chief. Albert Radio, our director of public works. Mabel Canto became a vocal community leader whose counsel was often sought. In fact, the names Gomes, Fernandez, Radio, Marcelline, Peanut, Canto, and many more are etched in Harwich history throughout the decades. Harwich is a better place because of their sense of family, respect, community, and hard work that many have brought with them from Brava and Cabo Verde as a whole. So it is fitting that we celebrate our mutual heritage today as we present this proclamation of enduring friendship to our honored guest, President Francisco Walter Tavares. May our bonds only grow stronger through the years. Given this day, 28th day of August, 2019, by the Harwich Board of Selectmen, Lawrence Ballantine, Chair, Ed McManus, Stephen Ford, Michael McCaskill, and Donald F. Howard.
We also welcome from the Board of Selectmen, Chairman Larry Ballantine.
Thank you very much. It's my great honor, on behalf of the Board of Selectmen of Harwich, the residents of Harwich, and all our Cape Verdean residents. What a great opportunity to honor our history, and you particularly, Mr. President. In that regard, I'd like to present you with this plaque. It says, Harwich and Brava, joined through the centuries, given with respect and friendship by the citizens of Harwich, Massachusetts, United States of America. It's a great honor.
The next item on your program is about the importance of Brava to Harwich. Brava is the roots of our Cape Verdean community. Those who came here from Brava brought with them the skills nurtured there in the islands, and with them the traditions, the culture, their strong work ethic. I mentioned the seamen, the farmers. They came to Harwich and embraced the United States of America, but also celebrated the language, the foods, the culture. I think we heard Vinny do a little Creole. Nice, very nice. I grew up one street over, we called it Four Corners. It was Pleasant Lake Avenue and Queen Anne Road. And the Four Corners just was a happening place. That was the community center for us before there was this community center. Weddings, christenings, they just went on for days. It was great to be there at that intersection because that's where it all happened. I was surrounded by many Cape Verdean families. The work ethic is very strong, family values are very strong. I saw our Cape Verdean learn English in some of the homes in that area. They learned religious education in one of the homes in that neighborhood. They learned how to become a citizen of the United States of America. It was very important to them. These are my memories of growing up in Harwich and growing up in a largely Cape Verdean community. It was a pleasure for me as a Cape Verdean to be elected to the Harwich Board of Selectmen in 1987. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. Well, maybe it's not a secret anymore, but when I served as chairman of the Board of Selectmen, John Rainiel was chief of police. Albert Rainiel was the elected highway surveyor. So three prominent Cape Verdeans were all serving at that same time, and it was wonderful. We may not have said a word, but if you could see what was in our hearts, you would know. It was just thumping with great pride. Well, that was then, and this is now. And we are so fortunate to have this Board of Selectmen present and helping us in our celebration of the Cape Verdean Brava Harwich connection. We have some slides or video. Lisa, we want to share. You know, we never saw very much or heard very much of the Cape Verde Islands when we were growing up here in the 40s. It was when the Republic of Cape Verde was established in 1975. They were no longer a colony of Portugal. They were the Republic of Cabo Verde. And from that point on, I think we've heard a lot more about our Cape Verdean ancestry. What we didn't see then was pictures of the islands. So Lisa will share some of those with you right now.
Just a little bit about Cape Verde background. I will start with history. Cape Verde was discovered by Portuguese cellular in 1600. And then they start developing what we call today globalization. They start discovering other people. And Cape Verde, when they discovered, was inhabited, no one there. And they bring Africans and Europeans to start having people there. That's why they call us mixed people. You have all kind of colors in there, and we are proud to be Cape Verdean. And Cape Verde is very rich because there's mixgenation that they did in there. The culture, the language, when we're talking about the music, gastronomy, architecture, it's everything that those two people bring to us and make us different, unique, distinctive, and beautiful people. As I mentioned before, Portuguese discovered us in 1462, and we are located in the mid of Atlantic, 450 from West Coast. And then the island we have 10 islands and 5 islets, and divided between 2 groups, Barlavento and Sotavento. But you can see Cape Verde, it's all diversity. Everything is different. You can find in there Project Mountain in north, for instance, Barlavento Islands. And you can find arid desert like in Boa Vista, there's Barlavento. And in Brava, it's mountain. It's all mountain in Brava, it's different. It's tons of difference in one country. That's why most people said, Cape Verde is one country. We have 10 different destinations. Cape Verde people, I mentioned, is a mix. We'll see like my color with blue eyes, other people with a different kind of hair. It's a mix. Whatever you see, it's like in America. We are all different and all the same person, and we share the same culture. What I mentioned here is just a little bit about Cape Verde Island. Yeah. Talking about Brava. Brava is one of those smallest islands in Cape Verde. It's just little, but very little. It's small. And then it's the most different compared to other islands. It's the unique. And you have in one island different things to see. It's very rich. Then, the first thing you can see in Brava is the climate that's different. You can find like sunshine, clear light in the Porto village, like in Furna, Pajandagua. But you will find like in Nova Cinta, mist, like cloudy sometimes. It's truly different. It's beautiful. And then you have different landscaping in there. Mountains, you have different, like the mountain, very green with lots of plants and different flora. And you find in the Porto, like different contrast, no green, but seems to be arid. It's all about Brava, different contrast. In Brava, someone that you know very well, you will see that there is tons of different plants. Guess what? Most of those plants, immigrants from America, sent to Brava. A lot. You can see pictures in the center of the village, Nova Cinta. It's tons of different plants and flora. It's pretty, it's green. You can see some Cinca from Portugal that the name came from, but you can see some difference for some American small village. Lots of plants. This is pretty. Culture and history. We can find in there lots of colonial architecture, like the house. It's different, it's unique. You can find in other islands, yes, but it's more predominant in Brava. You find more in Brava. It's pretty. Most people said that the color of those houses, and it's something that we need to tell President Tavares to maintain, and he's working hard to make this happen. Maintain the architecture, not change for new. New is good, but the old stuff tells people our story. Tell people where we came from. Tell people what we are and what matters. Culture. Eugênio Tavares, I think, is the most important, and everybody in Cape Verde and another place, know him. Thank you. He was a writer, very famous, and started like fighting for Cape Verde independence from Portugal. He's the one that started, but in writing, not fighting with the other, but fighting with his words, writing about liberty. And he has truly impacted Brava and Cape Verde culture, to music, to literature. And everything that he did, he gave us like something that our children, something that we share with others. He helped us continue with our own Cape Verdean culture, not Portuguese culture, not African culture, but Cape Verdean culture. Something new that belongs to all of us. I'm finishing this talking about the gastronomy. Food is very typical. I know someone knows a trupa, jack. It's something that all of us know about. And the last thing I can say is all Cape Verdeans that live in America have done so great helping the island economically. When they send their family some money, goods, they are helping develop Brava. They are helping their people. They are like putting something to their roots, helping us maintain in some way. That's why it's important to tell people that Cape Verde is developing, Brava is developing, because all of us, I know pretty good people in here, is helping the island go developing in all culture, education, everything. Thank you all.
It will be my honor to introduce to you President Tavares. President Tavares has led the island of Brava as its mayor since 2017. Mr. Tavares currently teaches at a secondary school. Though the office of mayor is unsalaried, he has been especially active in promoting and encouraging better social and medical services, as well as advocating for social change, including housing for the poor. Instead of holding large town-style meetings, he generally prefers to reach out to citizens individually or in small groups, and feels that it is important to hear of their personal needs and opinions. Mr. Tavares does not occupy the official residence which accompanies his position, but rather allows the residence to be used for cultural projects, especially those linked to the International Festival. And the International Festival is full of traditional music and the arts. That's what held us together. Brava is an island of immigration. He estimates that the number of Brava descendants in the United States is about 10 times the number currently living on Brava. He appreciates that many Americans inject a great deal of money into the economy of Brava through remittances to family members and in support of Brava. His chief goal is to reach out to those of Bravan descent and to foster ties between Brava and the towns in America, especially towns like Harwich, which has a significant Cape Verdean population. One reason that familial, social, and cultural ties are so strong today among Cape Verdean descendants is that as early as 1880, the Brava fleet of packet boats traveled back and forth from New Bedford to Brava in the spring and in the summer, allowing families to visit each other and maintain a vibrant cultural identity. I could have mentioned to you earlier, and I should have, that our vocalist, Candida Rose, is from the community of New Bedford. Still? Yes.
I'm also from, my father's side is also from Brava.
Ah, Brava ties again. There's a lot more that could be said, but I'm going to leave it to our president of Brava to share with you his message that he wants you to open your hearts to. My pleasure to present President Walter Susan Tavares.
First of all, I'd like to apologize my English. As you can imagine, in a country that we learn Portuguese at school and we talk Criollo at home, learning a little bit English only at the higher school, it's not permit a very good pronunciation and a very good English speaking. So I apologize if some words you cannot understand.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor of Harwich and all the team and colleagues that is in front of the office to make this city develop, and such a beautiful city that I dream one day Brava can be something like that. Mr. Members of the City Hall and Municipal Assemblies, Mr. Employees of the city, owner, state representative, senators, Dr. Emilio Muniz, consul from Cape Verde, singer, such amazing performance. Thank you very much.
Obrigado.
Honored guests and citizens of Harwich
and Brava. Good afternoon. Today is a remarkable day for me and for Brava. So, in the name of all Bravenses in Cape Verde and here in the land of Uncle Sam, I thank you all for this friendly welcome on your city of Harwich, on this important state of Massachusetts. The island of Brava and the United States of America are bonded by indestructible historical ties. Since the end of 19th century, with the famous Whelan, this welcoming country and a nation of opportunity has been receiving and integrated Cape Verdeans for several generations, particularly Bravenses that dock in Harwich on the rivers of Canberra. Life is all about sharing and recognition. It is a remarkable moment of our friendship. I would like to thank the whole generation of this city that hosted the brave people of Brava that adventure on immigration to USA in a very rare way. Besides, many were our brothers and sisters that couldn't win the tides of Atlantic and didn't have the lucky of many others. My grandparent was one of those that leaves Brava and never more. We had a sign what's happened. We believe that a lot of those who tries the land of opportunity agree that this is indeed the new world. We can still launch a new beginning based on the history. A history of work, effort, dedication, responsibility, sharing, and mutual understanding and development. I strongly believe that there is conditions for this friendly relationship to flourish to an institutional cooperation with benefit for both sides. Harwich has a lot to offer to Brava, and on the opposite, I believe that is also possible. The future is linked to the establishment of partnership between institutions and countries based on principles and values such as solidarity, complementarity, and mutual benefit. Americans and Cape Verdeans are people who love freedom, democracy, and their people are known by citizens with initiative. We have space to work together to deepen our friendship and create conditions so that our citizens can feel comfortable to invest and create a project of life either in Harwich or in Brava. You are invited to visit Brava. The truth is that Brava has the condition to promote a high level of tourism, adding and taking advantage of its history, its distinctive architectural heritage and culture, its natural beauty, the weather and morabeza of its people. Do you know what morabeza means? It's a very good word receiving
Hospitality, warmth.
together. Talking about Brava is talking about our greatest poet ever, Eugênio de Paula Tavares, immigrant here in the United States, and a lot of more beautiful, small and important things. The excellence of relationship between the United States of America and the Republic of Cape Verde must reflect at the level of municipality. From municipality of Brava, there is total availability to make a very strong commitment with Harwich. It's a challenge for all of us in this remarkable day. God bless Brava, God bless Harwich, a blessing to Cape Verde and United States of America. Thank you.
We're going to have time now for questions. So if anyone is interested in asking President Tavares a question, we have a center mic right here in the aisle. Anyone?
I had to speak tonight. I didn't want to. I apologize for being late. In living in Harwich, I don't get a chance to talk to Verde too much unless I'm with Virginia Pina, and we have a great time. It's almost a family get together just about every day. I'm proud to see her now. Also, I want to thank the president. I was late in coming with him because I was talking too much. We talked Cape Verdean all the time we were there. And he proved something to me that I've been saying all along. I'm not from Vogel, I'm from Brava. My mother's dad was from Brava, and he lived in Onset, and my grandmother was from the Azores, the island of Peake. So I don't get a chance to talk too much in the Cape Verdean language in Harwich, but today I must have talked enough for a whole year. And I will see him next May. I guarantee that.
I do have a question for the president of Brava. I'm Tootsie Russell. I'm from Whelan. I'm PGD Lolo di Nyangwiza di Lao, the Garcia clan from Puna Brava. But my question is to you, is the Millennium Challenge account that was received by the Cape Verde Islands, has the island of Brava benefited from that Millennium Challenge account? And in what way has it progressed?
Mr. Russell, right?
Yes.
From Puna.
From Puna.
Unfortunately, Brava benefits a really small part of the Millennium Challenge account. It was in a project that treats water before putting in the way to roads. It is important that this project is very important because our water had 7 times the highest fluor permitted by the international scientific studies. So that project from the MCA benefit Brava that way. It was a small amount of money, but with a huge impact in the health of all provinces. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. President. I don't know the population of Brava, and I saw that dramatic photo of the ferry that arrives at your island. How long the ferry ride from where to Brava? And can you tell us a dramatic arrival with the cliffs there? Can you give an idea of a little bit about the harbor and how,
Okay. Brava is the smallest island habited in Cape Verde. There are 10 islands, 9 habited, and Brava is the smallest one. With less than, we are between 5,000 and 500 inhabitants to 6,000. And they used to say in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, in New England, we have about 60,000 Bravenses from the first to the third generation. And to get Brava, you go to the main island, that is Santiago, city of Praia, that is capital of Cape Verde, and then you have you can have 4-hour boat till Fogo, and more 40 minutes from Fogo till Brava, or 20 minutes by plane from Praia till Fogo, and then more 40 minutes in the boat. And you can do that 6 days a week. Now we are really well served, but we had a time that maybe we can have 1 boat a month, and 1 boat a week, and boats with 2-3 hours between Brava and Fogo. By now we have speedy fast ferry boats that is doing that in less than 1 hour. I guess I answered the questions.
How are you, Mr. President?
I'm feeling excited. It's amazing having all of you here.
I just have a couple of quick questions. First off, I would like to say I have a couple of family members on your board, which I'm very proud of. I have 2 questions. I don't believe you can answer this question because you're not from Cape Cod. So I'm going to relate this to Mr. Rainio. Back when I was growing up as a Cape Verdean, I never learned Cape Verdean speaking. My parents would always, when they didn't want the children to understand what they were saying, they would speak Creole. So I guess I'm going to ask this question to Mrs. Gomes or Mr. Radio. What I would like to do, A, is there any place or anywhere on the Cape that I could learn my Cape Verdean culture. So,
I guess you kind of put me on the spot, but we, as you can see, we have the Cape Verdean culture. Cape Verdean culture, myself, Angelina, and Brenda Collins. We're trying to do that. It's kind of hard to teach someone to speak the language because each island speaks a different dialect. Remember I said a few minutes ago that I learned something today? I'm Brava. I always thought I was from Fogo. My grandmother and grandfather from Harwich was from Fogo, but my grandfather from Whelan was from Brava. And I spent all day long with him on the farm speaking Cape Verdean. And that's why I stuck with that. In Harwich, I saw my grandfather in the morning when I took the cow out, and in the afternoon when I brought the cow home. So now they say they have a language. Yes, there is a book on Cape Verdean language. But like I said, I was here 9 years ago, and I started, he says, where are you from? I says, Fogo. No, you know Fogo. You Brava. Okay? Because I picked up that dialect by being on the farm all day long. Whereas here, it was a different story. Our parents never taught Cape Verdean to us because they're so busy telling us, make a better life in America, make good for yourself, and give everybody respect. I mentioned today about how we used to walk down the street and we saw someone's older than the older people. First thing we would say was, Dan Ben Song, which means give me blessing. And he should make a cross and say, Deus Bakumo, which means God go with me. Okay? So there are a lot of things that, I remember these things, that Virginia and I, we just have a party almost. We're talking the old days and stuff like that. So, but that's the reason. They wanted us to make a better life. They didn't want to tell us about the starving, that they starved over there, or their life, how bad it was. Okay? They want us to be proud of it. We were very poor. Most of us had no money, but we never starved. Everybody had, whatever you had, you shared. Okay? So that's all I can say. I don't know anybody that's teaching it, because like I said, each island speaks a different dialect, and I enjoyed today because in Harwich especially, very few people speak Cape Verdean. They speak a little bit, but they don't speak it fluently.
but I want to learn.
And I have to go off Cape to funerals and meet family members, especially in Brockton. And when I get there, I have a field day, believe me. And they told me when I was in Cape Verde Islands that I was born there. I had to be, because I speak it somewhere. I can still speak 93, 94%. Yes, I do.
Can I say something? So hello again, my name is Candida. I'm from New Bedford. If someone, maybe the folks that are on the committee, can reach out to people like, do I need my singing voice? Yes. Okay. All right. So maybe if someone on the committee here can reach out to people like Carlos Almeida, who teaches Cape Verdean at Bristol Community College in Fall River. Also, there are Cape Verdean language courses going on, I believe, at Bridgewater, at Bridgewater State University. So I believe that this might be a really good time for you guys to make some of those connections, so to bring some of those courses to the Cape, because there's a lot of sort of Cape Verdean language reclamation kind of happening, particularly in our generation, because there's a lot of us that feel like we lost out on the language. So we definitely want to make sure that we get it back. So just start making those connections.
If I can say one more thing, sorry, I'm loud. I have a question. my ancestors came from Brava, okay? I've been recently in the nursing home, in the hospital. That's no issue. But, how can I say this? But many cultures, many people that have taken care of me in the hospital, every time you go someplace or somewhere, or you know, doing an application for a job, it's, years ago, it's always black, white, or other. Now, I always say that I am Cape Verde, and they say, no, you can't say that. I'm saying, yes, I'm not an other. I am Cape Verde. So the thing that brought me a couple, 3 weeks ago, I was getting my medication from one of the nurses, and she says, what are you? I said, well, I'm Cape Verde. What's that? I said, well, I'm from an island off the coast of Africa, Fogo, whatever. And she told me, and I didn't bother her, or I didn't say anything, but she said, you come from Africa, you're African. And I said, no, I am not. I am Cape Verde. So what I wanted to ask you is, am I right? Am I wrong? I would like to know. I consider myself Cape Verdean.
There's a book here for sale, Michael.
Of course.
And it tells what I thought of what you have just said, asking that the Cape Verdean, that Cape Verdeans be recognized and their culture be recognized. So that's not the first time that sentiment has been expressed, and I think it's a good one. We, growing up in the Cape Verdean communities of Pleasant Lake and Main Street, North Harwich, had our older families, and they all spoke the language, and so you learned it. But if you don't use it, you lose it. A few years ago, Max Mendes was teaching a course in Harwich on Creole, and it was a nice refresher. I know that we have Jane, you have a relative that wrote a book on the Cape Verdean language, and he also has a tape. So that's a possibility. There's opportunities, and if there's interest, I think we can make it happen. Any other questions? A lot of smiling faces out there, it feels so good. Big difference when the Republic of Cape Verde came into existence. It was a big difference for all of us, for a lot of us. And it's just wonderful that so much has been making us more aware of our roots. Sir?
Bom dia, senhor presidente. Meu nome é Filipe Gomes. A mídia chama estas capas, chama Waham, das três, muito estudado, chama as estrelas, chama Waham, já de lá, e Waham está a família. Me queria perguntar, eu não tenho para pedir em inglês, não. Marcelo Gomes Amar, conhece de Braia, fazer 4 livros de história de Cabo Verde. Eu queria de Brava, muito livro, de 4, de de chama the Other Americans. Queria outro de Antônio Galo, Antônio Danola, o conceito Antônio Danola de Escola do Cabo Verde. Ele é fra, me, particular, outro, é fra, perguntando, João Danola. Porque na maioria de uma família, ele fra, de família descendente, de Antônio Danola, de fazer para ter casa, de conhecer de família de Escola do Cabo Verde.
Kami cria ali tudo família de mim e de vô. Ele chama de São Lourenço, de mãe, de pai, de donos, tal. A mim vai lá 4 vezes. Ele vai praia, ele vai sal, ele vai Brava vez, fogo, São Antônio. O Chile língua, a mim, the first generation aqui. É preciso fazer história, para também have historical society para mentor e maçom com Ballantine. E para ele, Gustavo, que nome de João de novo, também de novo da família.
Eu não sou crioulo. Bom, na verdade, que aconchega é escritora.
Ok.
Mas esse apelido, Bala,
Cria lá tudo. Cria de Brava, tudo está para mim.
Que o presidente de Câmara antes de mim, seu apelido era Bala.
Sim.
Era Orlando Bala. Mas esse escritor é outra coisa. João Danoli, para mim, é nome de uma localidade na Brava.
Sim.
Perto de Nova Sintra. Que tem umas casas bonitas. Mas o nome João Danoli está falando bem de Itália.
Ele é italiano.
Ele é de Itália. Muito bem. Até uns anos para trás, vem um casal de lá de Itália, vem casa na João Danoli de Brava. Então fica contente de hoje interesse, esforço para aprender crioulo, para prática crioulo e crescer de cada vez mais de Cabo Verde e de cada ilha.
Obrigado.
Então, a partir de hoje, tem que acabar a pesquisa que esses nomes ali, para conhecer um pouco mais dessa história em relação a Cabo Verde, Brava.
Eu não tinha uma história de discovery, eles descobrem Antônio não era foto de substituto. Eles tudo que é história, e como ele cria ali, mas depois eu falei, pai, a minha Cabo Verde não li, este é Fran, filho, meu nome é Filipe Gomes. É Fran, pai, 10 anos, eu tenho 10 anos. Pai, Felipe, de vovô, de Conceição Felipe, Mosteiro, São Lourenço. Já baila, já conhece casa, família, faz habilidades, filhos, tudo. 1995.
If you've got questions after the program is over, we'll be going in the other room.
Okay.
That would give you an opportunity to one-on-one ask him questions.
Okay.
And I'm sure answer.
Okay.
Like
my main question was only for the historian, Marcel Gomes. They wrote the 4 books on the history. He asked me to come here. I talked to him yesterday. If of the Donoli family, Antonio Donoli is the official discoverer of Cabo Verde, and he has descendants of Jean Donoli, and that's the question I asked of you, if this descendants living in Brava.
Thank you, but
Thank you.
this is not the time. Okay? Thank you.
Anyone else? I don't want to keep you from the refreshments in the multicultural room, so I think we're close to a wrap. I must tell you, though, I asked permission, so I don't think I'll be in trouble for this, that the photographer here tonight from the Cape Cod Times. She and her husband honeymooned in the Cape Verde Islands. That's Marilee standing back there and her husband Patrick. Thank you for being here tonight. When we were planning the exhibit at the museum, we interviewed them one night, and it was a great pleasure to know of their interest in the Cape Verde Islands. So thank you for that, and thank you for being here tonight. Albert has a presentation just before refreshments.
There is no more question. At the end, I want to thank all of you that worked hard to this evening happen and make such a huge, important reception to me as Bravense's representative. I guess this is the first event like that. And I have to confess, the biggest event over Brava I'm participating as a Brava man. Thank you very much. I had something to give to mark this evening with a little bit of our culture. It's made by hands, okay? And it is forever to remember. And the relationship between Brava and Harwich from now on get to be stronger and stronger. So this is one of This is also made by hands and made by one of my employees at the mayor office. She took care about my office to have it clean, but she did such a special and beautiful saying Brava Nyater. Brava is in Creole, that means Brava. Nyater means my land, or my country, my it was also a special book that show and that is in Portuguese, so sorry. It's our history, written by Mr. Bem-vindo Oliveira Leitão, that is an immigrant from Brava, living in Rhode Island. Right? This picture shows Brava more than 50 years ago. A lot of sails. Some of those for sure leaves Brava to here with some Bravenses that nowadays we have some Bravenses here in Harwich. Cape Verde is a country of happy people. We love songs. Okay, we love dance. We love having good moments. Because life has been a little bit hard, raining, not sufficient to our farms. The seaside is great to our fishermen, and we had to immigrate as a solution to achieve a better life for each one and for all the families staying in Brava. And if nowadays Brava is still existing, because this immigration starts at the end of 19th century to US. Here we have songs from Brava, written by our poet Eugênio Tavares. And this other CD is a new CD, but with Asian songs from Brava, with others, okay, so it's a little bit of our life story in this music, talking about innovations, the needs, missing each other, families great, some sad and some happy songs. So I would like to share and let it here in Harwich as a sign of this amazing event you wait for me as a mayor of Brava. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I have a gift for you. I approach you to give you a little gift.
Sure.
Mr. President, I just want to say it was a pleasure meeting you. See the shirt? No sweat.
Brava is 10 times more costly.
I would give you my shirt, but I'll fall if I should. But here's a hat for you. Cape Verde, all the islands. My pleasure.
Okay, we're almost there. Albert?
I would like to thank everybody for coming tonight, especially the weather hasn't been that great with a little rain. And I hope you did accept my apology earlier. And now I'd like to give the president a gift from our group. And I think this is... Sorry. One of the ladies should do this, but they're not doing it, so I guess I have to. But anyway, this is a gift of Harwich, which we presented to him. And everything is tied in one way or another. And I hope you enjoy it. I wanted to bring you some cranberries, but I didn't think you'd be able to take it back home with you. But we do have the cranberry sauce jelly in front of the bar. So we did get it. Okay? And I apologize also to Mr. Kukunas because I tried to get him, but he was busy on the phone or whatever, and I never did, and tied up. But we couldn't go out to the cranberry market and maybe get off it to us. We were going to do a tour, which we didn't do. So we did go to Right after I give him this, we're going to go in the other room and have a little session. Okay, so here's the gift.
Ok, boa noite tudo, gente. O senhor está direito? Como o senhor se sente, sabe? Everybody feeling good? All right. So what I wanted to do, what I'd like to do before we break for refreshments is, how many of us are Cape Verdean American here? Born in this country? Okay. How many of you have not been to Cape Verde yet? All right. So, okay, a lot of you, right? So I'm going to dedicate this song to all of you who have not been to Cape Verde yet, because once you go to Cape Verde, whether you go to Brava, whether you go to Santiago, whether you go to Sal, San Vicente, you feel your roots. You feel your roots. And so I have a song on my CD, it's called Cabo Verde Dia, which means Cabo Verde one day. And it basically talks about the fact that I was born and raised here in the United States, but I grew up with everything of you in my heart and in my soul. My mother's family is from Santo Antão, my father's family is from Brava, and I had not, at the time when I wrote the song, I had not been there yet, but with faith, one day I will come to you. And so I've been there 5 times. I did some research there in 2016, spent some time in Mato Riba, Cunha Gentile. And so I'd like to present this song to all of you. Is that okay? Cabo Verde, e nessa linda marca, em criar tudo que os de bom no meu coração, em criar o desejo para um diabo dia, para chegar na boa, dia, Cabo Verde, não quero ver você que quer fazer. Cabo Verde é conquista minha alma, Cabo Verde é conquista minha sangue, em criado tudo amor de bom, ganha coração, em criado desejo ao diabo. Vai, come on, help me out, Cabo Verde, dia, come on, Cabo Verde, dia, e tu chega na boca. Dia, come on, Cabo Verde. Dia, em descia na boca, cantão, poetinha de minha mãe. Já brava, poetinha de minha mãe. Preciso nadar, ainda não puxei. Com verdade agora vai também. Come on, you go, Cabo Verde. Dia, come on, Cabo Verde. Dia, e te chega na boca, Cabo Verde. Dia, Cabo Verde. Dia, e te chega na boca. Come on, everybody put those hands together. Come on. This is the celebration of culture. Celebration of our roots, our connection. Minha terra, I will know you, my country. Dia, I will see you one day. Abraçado, minha terra. Dia, yeah. You can share my love. Yes, for you, my dream. Oh, when I my soul. Oh, Calvary. Oh, Calvary. Oh, Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And you have books? Yes.
I just wanted to say that if you're interested in the Cape to Cape connection, Cape Verde and Cape Cod, there is a little pamphlet that was put out by the National Park Service that Jane Chase here from the Historical Society has for sale. I think it's $4. But at any rate, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you and good night. That concludes the program. But we